This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
And welcome back to Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies.
Nice.
With me is Kyle. He's our media manager here at Silver Screen Insider, and he is our in-house Marvel cinephile.
Hello.
That sounds like something you have to search for on the dark web.
Yeah.
I'm a Marvel cinephile. Ooh.
Also joining me is Ken. He is a film buyer, and he is our action movies aficionado. His icons are Sylvester Stallone and
Jean-Claude Van Damme,
yeah,
Chuck
I was going to say
Norris.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's just all
Arnold.
the
He beat me
action
to it.
icons.
Arnold,
I think Jean-Claude Van Damme is your spirit guide.
the golden age of action films from 1980 to 1994. And then I'll throw John Wick in there as
And
well.
then John Wick. And I'm Cody. I'm a film buyer, and I have watched, not to brag, 17 out of the top 100 AFI, top 100 movies list. So there,
Ooh.
17 people.
18 after this past week.
18, hopefully after this week.
Nice.
So yeah.
I was just saying that's a lot more than I thought it
Well,
was going to be. So
Because it was 12, Kyle.
I keep forgetting there's ones like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, like the ones that,
yeah,
but they're still classics though.
they are. They're really good. We'll talk about what I saw this last week to add to my list.
And I will as well.
Yeah.
Because I kept my promise.
Because we're adding a new segment to our podcast. So we do Cody's Classic Corner, where I get tortured with old movies that I have no interest in seeing.
Tortured or taught?
Enlightened.
Enlightened.
Better
know?
word.
Just whatever you want to call it. But now Kyle is getting in on it. And
I'm being tortured.
He is getting tortured with family movies and like heartfelt stuff that mama bears want their baby bears to see.
Yeah, Cody's working title for this is Kyle's Sweet and Happy Corner. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's what we put on our notes.
I swear I don't have a heart of, or I swear I'm not like cold-hearted or nothing, but after seeing the movie that I had to watch, I felt neither sweetened nor happy. I'm sorry to say.
And what are we going to torture Ken with?
I think action movies from like 1982 to 1994. You know, I think that seems like a sweet spot
for torture. What's your
torture.
title again?
Yeah.
Action
I missed
movies?
that. I missed that part. I blocked it out. So yeah, I think that's a sweet spot. I'm going to start with Predator next week. I think that's a good spot to start.
The 2018 one, right? 2017 one? Whatever the new one was.
Ooh, we should make you watch all the remakes of all the ones you loved.
Total Recall with Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
It's not your worst idea.
No.
Makes a lot of sense.
Predators with Adrian Brody.
It was a time, folks. It was a time.
So, on this episode, we're going to talk about the Tenet trailer that just debuted on Fortnite.
Yes. Nolan loves Fortnite.
For all you gamers out there, on a sneak peek of that new Tenet trailer.
Or also on silverscreeninsider.com.
Yes. For the normal people, it's on Silver
normal
Screen
people.
Insider.
For everyone else.
If you're not a teenage boy, it's on silverscreeninsider.com. Then we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut happening. What?
I'm liking this episode. 2 for 2. Speaking my language.
A little mention about Tom Hanks's Greyhound.
Finally, I'm so excited.
Well, hold your horses.
Yeah, hold your horses, Ken. Then we're going to talk about some booking strategies. You know, theaters are starting to reopen across the country, and unfortunately, there's no new products, so we're all playing repertory. What does that mean? What are we going to do with all this? What's happening out there with it? How many times can you play Back to the Future? Come on.
Not enough times.
Not enough times. And then to coincide with that is, you know, this boom in, for some reason, people are remembering that drive-in movies exist and that drive-ins are a thing. And now that they can't get out of their cars because of the virus, they're like, what do we do? So drive-in movies are making a comeback. And then we just want to talk quickly about some, you know, as theaters reopen, some operation things to keep in mind in the time of COVID-19. we'll get to Kyle's Sweet and Happy Corner.
Working title.
My classic corner.
When you say it like that, I don't think that's a
And-
good sounding title.
And then we're going to wrap things up. So let's get started with that Fortnite Tenet trailer. What did you guys think?
Well, I was nervous at first because I don't have Fortnite, and when I heard at first that it was going to be exclusively premiering on Fortnite, I was nervous I had to like sign up somehow. Luckily, it was on YouTube after that though, and now it's on Silver Screen Insider. But I'm so happy to see this trailer, and I think that's a small part of it is because like, you know, there's not many movies coming out. We're wanting to go back to the theaters, of course, but this just reminds me of why I enjoy watching movies at the theaters so much. It's because of movies such as this, the ones that Nolan makes, and I don't think he's going to disappoint, and I'm really excited to see what he has on the table. I still don't know what's happening, but I'm all in anyway.
I have no idea what. I'm like reverse time happens and then you go back.
Inversion of time.
Yeah, I'm just so confused already, but I need a new movie. So I'm going with it. Not my usual cup of tea. What do you think, Ken?
It was awesome. I am so excited. It's a smart action thriller. It has what's his face from Twilight in it. I know he's a good actor, but
I know,
He is a great actor.
You kept saying, Cody, Robert Pattinson's in the trailer.
They showed
and I'm
so
like,
much Pattinson. I love it.
That's what Ken
at
said.
least,
And
I'm
I
here for it.
at least they
I was like,
put him
they
in
showed
there.
him.
They
I don't
put
know
him-
if it was a good.
they put him in there,
I
and
don't
he
know if it
wasn't
was a
in,
good
it was
call.
great.
he wasn't
It's
in a rubber
great
bat
call.
suit, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
He's gonna be awesome. You guys wait. Watch Good Time.
No,
Well, hopefully
I
Twilight Hearts will like it.
I said this was.
Oh, they'll love it.
This was going to
They'll
be
come back.
a big thing. This was going to kick off theaters, and John David Washington looks like a badass in it.
He looks
He
so
looks like a
good.
badass.
I was like, get Robert Pattinson off the screen. I want more of this guy.
I watched all the seasons of Ballers, which he is a star of, to see exactly what he brings to the table, and he plays a disillusioned NFL player, wide receiver who lives on the edge and all these things. And I'm like, see if he can do something different. You don't know if he's got that kind of range, and it's going to be awesome. He's going to blow this out of the park. He's going to, by this time next year, 2 years from now, he may surpass his dad as far as.
Whoa.
Oh, hot take.
That is a very big hot take.
Fireball.
Well, I only have seen him in Black Klansman, but he was terrific in that. I haven't seen Ballers, but
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
I've seen
Thanks, Ken.
neither. So
I've seen neither.
I've seen him in the.
Shocking take of the day. Cody's never seen it.
I've seen him in this trailer and I'm mesmerized. So I'm excited for him. I was not as excited for Robert Pattinson. Which is good because he's not the main guy. So you want to be excited about the main guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
He didn't have vampire fangs, Cody, so.
He's not sparkly
He's
enough.
not sparkly enough for me anymore.
I do hope that Tenet is a really good launching point for some normalcy for theaters to come back to. I'm really hoping that this trailer sold people on, if they're comfortable with it, taking a chance and going to see
It's just
this.
tough because you still don't know what's going on. It is
Yeah.
confusing, and that's a hard part about marketing Christopher Nolan outside of Batman films because you're like, it's Batman. But these films are cerebral, and it is hard to market, and you are confused in the trailer. So
But they still hook you.
That was
You
the
still wanna
same
know.
way with everything, though. With Inception, with Memento, you had no idea.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. You didn't know what it was going to be. You had a general idea that it was that it's a cop movie, that it's a thriller, but you don't know anything beyond that.
And
This
I'm here
felt-
for it.
This felt like a crazy cerebral Mission Impossible film or James Bond film.
I
You
can
have
see
like
that.
an
Yeah.
agent that has to save the world by themselves, secretly, covertly.
I'm just waiting for Ken Watanabe to show up. I'm very excited for him.
True. You know Nolan wants to bring him back.
He's there somewhere, hiding in the shadows.
I mean, if Michael Caine is in another one of his movies, you know Ken Watanabe is showing up too.
Michael Caine.
So yeah, that's really fun. And then I was really excited to find out that the Snyder cut of Justice League. I would, as we talk about these repertory titles, I'm like, Warner Brothers has a DC combo, and we'll get into that later in our discussion. But they have Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Shazam, and I'm like, ooh, Justice League, like that.
What a spot to be able to put that in. They didn't, but at least we're getting it. Our theaters are getting the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be 6 hours long.
Ken, I'm sorry,
Ken.
but it's only going to HBO Max. It's not going to
It's
theaters.
streaming only. Why do they do this to us? Get us all excited. We finally got, hopefully, what would be a much better Justice League, and you're not even going to get to enjoy it in the theater.
Well, I think part of it is because apparently this cut is going to be 4 hours long, and I don't
4
think
to 6 hours. Yeah.
or it maybe even longer. So
Yeah.
they probably don't even want to split into two parts. They just want to get this thing out, have everyone calm down about the Snyder cut, and then move on. Personally, as a fanboy and all this stuff, like, I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm glad that this Zack Snyder is able to possibly show his movie as much as he can, but I do agree I would have liked to have seen it in the theater, but I think for fanboys this is still a good win.
It's just crazy. Like, is Joss Whedon just being thrown under the bus big time with this? Is he like being kicked out? Like, no, we don't really want you anymore.
Not exactly. I just think he got dealt the wrong cards. He had a really tough position to step in and follow studio's vision of the movie over what Snyder was wanting. So I don't think they're exactly like kicking Whedon to the curb. I think Whedon just kind of wants to do his own thing for a while anyway. But I don't know. Maybe there's something else I'm missing there.
I don't know. After Scoob, I have HBO maximum frustration on this. Do you have some other good news? Something else, maybe?
No, I'm sorry. I thought we were gonna get an update on Greyhound.
We got a release date, right?
Because Tom Hanks survived COVID-19 and he is the man. So,
but we got a release date, right?
A release date for it premiering on Apple TV Plus.
Sony sold Greyhound, which to me looked like the best movie of their upcoming slate, to Apple. And
In
I'm
their
like,
defense, they had to push back Peter Rabbit 2.
Right. That's in their defense. But I'm not only disappointed, but if you're going to sell it to a streamer, at least sell it to a streamer that I can actually watch. Like, who has Apple? Who wants to watch it on Apple
Their
TV?
streaming service. I don't know many people that even have Apple products are using Apple TV
Yeah.
Plus.
I mean, it's just like, what a throwaway, in my opinion.
Well, I'm sure Sony got a good sum of money for it.
Oh, yeah, they
So
made out.
it's not necessarily a throwaway for them, but
I feel
Yeah.
so bad
not
for
good
Tom
for
Hanks.
theaters.
You imagine a film company not going to multiple outlets. They're like, oh no, Apple made us an offer. There was an Amazon Apple throwdown, and Apple's like, oh yeah, what's the number? $100 million for a Tom Hanks movie? Something crazy.
Who knows what the number was, but
Something ridiculous, and now no one's going to see it.
now no one.
I don't even know how to see it.
Right. Even if I really wanted to, I wouldn't know because I don't have Apple streaming products. Like, I don't have any of that, so.
Yeah, I was curious on if Apple would try to put this in theaters somehow, because I believe they're wanting to go in the similar route that Amazon does when it comes to releasing some stuff theatrically. I don't know if they can yet. It might be too soon, but if they did it that way, I wouldn't be against it.
Right.
If they follow the Amazon method, that's fine.
Right. If they got
but-
like a 30-day theatrical exclusive window, that would be awesome. And then I go see it. But
The Banker they did 2 weeks on, which was fine. Like something.
right.
Something for the theater, something to get your product out there. And then have an Apple TV trailer that plays with it. Have something else with it, but just to eliminate it completely is the wrong thing to do, especially with
Right.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks isn't a streaming
Like
actor.
I said, he survived COVID-19. He is superhuman, and everybody wants to hear what he has to
He
say now.
survived COVID-19, AIDS twice, Somali pirates.
Yeah. Being alone
He's-
on an island, found his way back, Ken.
Yeah, he did.
There were sharks on the raft. He's a miracle.
Yeah.
He's an American hero.
And
He
you
came
did
back
him
from
dirty.
the moon. Okay?
He landed that plane with all those people in it.
Yeah. He is such an amazing man.
He really
He
is.
survived a volcano.
Granted, all this stuff that he does is acting,
Right.
but he's still amazing.
No,
I
these
was
are
under the impression-
documentaries.
I was under
These
the
are
impression,
facts. He
Facts,
did all this
Kyle.
stuff.
Yeah, I was under the
Just under
impression that
different names.
Everything in films was true and factual.
Yeah.
Even the biographies still aren't fully true.
I'm still looking for trolls out in my yard.
Spewing out rainbow colors and music.
Our kids would love that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So yeah, speaking of Tom Hanks, that we just listed so many good movies that he's been in. wouldn't you want to see them in your theater?
Well, yes, I
Yes.
would.
Yes.
This is why I'm in charge of the
Transitions.
transitions.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I think Eric did the transitions a lot for
did.
us.
He did.
But anyway, Tom
But
Hanks, go on.
I'm thinking Tom Hanks series, Apollo 13, and I can't remember the other names off the top of my head,
what are you
but I
talking
know
about?
I'm just thinking booking strategy wise. Like, what do I want to see in the theater? I think a whole series dedicated to Tom Hanks would be good.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So what are you going to play when you reopen? What's going to get people
Yeah.
in?
Tom Hanks. And a whole bunch of these other combo
like Tom
drives
Hanks
for the other.
movies,
There
like-
we
Yeah.
go. There's
Yeah.
the transition.
Okay.
So right now,
Lead us by the nose.
sorry guys, I'm a little off. This is the Friday before Memorial Weekend. I'm
Of
ready
course.
to get out of here. All right. So right now there are 4 companies that have these combo drives. Lionsgate has a few. Universal has tons. Warner Brothers has tons, but they're not available all at once yet. And then Paramount has them. Sony is working on theirs, and we're hearing inklings that Disney might have something in the future. But basically, they've come and they've kind of done these prearranged combo drives with similar films and stuff on them. They all are a little different, and basically, this is what's available to book for theaters opening right now. If you don't pick something that premiered in theaters before March 13th, 2020. So anything previous to March 13th is still available. And then you have these combo drives. And at first I was like, oh, great, combo drives. Because the more you book in a combo drive, the cheaper the terms get, which has been awesome for some people. But this is all the films in the drives are kind of the low-hanging fruit. It's like, think all your Harry Potters, your Lord of the Rings, your 80s action movies. And so, you're booking these, but you're booking them and like I've started booking them in all these locations, and I'm realizing like everybody's playing the same thing. And so I think if you're a theater owner and you're in an area where you're not necessarily competitive, but you're close to other theaters, say you're a small 4-plex and then 20 miles away is a big, 10-plex. If it's open, it's playing these same films that you're trying to play with your open. So I've been finding that I've really had to look to see what is playing around our theaters and trying to pick things that they're not doing. And that might mean missing out on some of the cheaper terms on the drives. But I mean, how many theaters can realistically play Harry Potter in the same area and still expect everybody to come? So I've had a lot of thoughts now about trying to juggle the cheaper terms and what the value savings there with trying to be different and unique and find something that not only the theater can, really market themselves to come in and get excited about, but that other people might get excited about.
Yeah, I think by having like them be events for like older titles, and I'm not meaning like super old titles because there is like quite a bit still, but I'm thinking of more like 70s, 80s type movies, maybe 90s as well, in like the quote unquote older range. Those could be good for events, but I don't think they're going to be what theaters are initially thinking of playing like at the same time on different days. They're going to be thinking of more recent titles where maybe you want them to be events, but maybe also try and see if you can play older titles on,
I just think
same time, same day, just to be a little bit different.
I think the theater has to really market these films and get excited and really engage on social media. It is one thing to be able to book them, but maybe have your social media followers pick some films, say, do some polls and find out what people really want. And maybe even go like crazy outside the box. Maybe there's movies out there that you don't know you want until somebody brings it up and you're like, oh yeah, that would be fun in a theater. So I really want to encourage everybody to think outside the box on this and maybe not worry so much what's in these combo drives.
No, according to ComScore, Jurassic Park was like the number 3 movie last week. Jurassic Park 1993.
Well, I booked so many of those, so I'm not surprised. That is a drive. You can get all the Jurassic Parks, the 3 original ones plus the 2 lost Jurassic World movies, all on a drive. So I've done that. I've booked those. I've booked Harry Potter's all on drives. I've even done all the Indiana Jones movies, and I reluctantly will book the 4th Indiana Jones movie, and they can all come on a single drive for you. So that's been...
There wasn't a 4th Indiana Jones movie. They didn't make a 4th one, did they, Kyle?
They certainly should not have.
Right. And I certainly don't even offer it up unless somebody asks for it.
Then I just click the button and I don't think about it.
Right.
No,
I don't even put like Indiana Jones 4. I don't even want to put Kingdom of Crystal Skull because it's just so
don't make me think about
horrible.
it. Don't make me think about it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's drives for all that. There's, Universal's got a great John Hughes drive that has like Weird Science and Pretty in Pink and a couple other well-known ones on it. I mean,
The Breakfast Club, which is the number one of all those movies you just named.
Really? That's not the one that always comes to my head.
Really?
Yes, that's the one.
What's the first one for you?
Pretty in Pink, and then probably, but that's not my favorite. That's just the one that comes. And then I really love Weird Science.
Of course you would.
But I mean, even that one, like people maybe wouldn't think of it as a movie to go see in a theater, but then when they see the title and think about it more, maybe they'll be like, it's not one I haven't seen, but I do like John Hughes.
I want to see it.
Why
Who
not?
doesn't
Let's
love
try
a young Robert Downey Jr. though?
Yeah.
Oh.
Again, different.
Very exciting.
Different time.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
But no, there's like so many. If you kind of look deeper, you can think of maybe doing something with them. Like, I mean, I was looking through the list of some. I saw like old Mad Max movies that I would love to see in a theater. I would love to see old horror classics that Universal has as well. I believe I think there's a way to make that work.
Yeah. Now
I might enjoy these classic movies more if I could go to the theater and see them. Maybe.
Now is the time.
Maybe not, because I can't fast forward.
Now is the time to get as creative as possible with your booking strategy. Not necessarily a number of films or variety of films.
No, you don't need to load up.
You need to nail what you're going to do. You need to promote it. If your staff is back and they're not working, guess what? You're tweeting the entire time. You're
making TikTok videos about the movies. You're doing stuff to engage your customers on social media.
For once, you're going to encourage your employees to be on their phones.
Be on their phones. Yeah.
Market for me. Market. Go promote.
Free marketing. Come on. No, I just I think you need to not only get creative, but what I did find as we were starting to open up, a few clients just went, I think it's from being pent up and being closed, but they just went crazy with their bookings.
Yeah.
And loaded up thinking they needed multiple showtimes a day and different movies and trying to appeal to everybody. And I don't think that that's been the best strategy. It's costly. You're splitting up. You're only going to get a few people at each showtime because a lot of people are also opening up under capacity restrictions. So you're not getting 100 seats. You're getting 50 or less sometimes on these because of the social distancing requirements. So you really only need to appeal to a few people, but make it like an event. Make it something that, you can maybe keep for a showtime or keep for a whole week, because you really do got to juggle the cost of operation, the cost of the booking with the reality of that these are old films that people have been watching at home. So to get them out of their homes, you got to make it fun for them. You got to make it more of an event.
And this will also be a learning experience for your theater to know how to, sanitize a bit more, learn how to adjust to different situations at this time we're living in before, big movies like Tenet, A Quiet Place, SpongeBob come out. I mean, granted, they're probably not going to load up on audiences all that much, but at least it will still be that learning experience to prepare you for the unknown.
Oh, definitely. This is like a good practice runs for those.
No, this is getting people in, trying it out, getting comfortable with it. If you open up, like we've said the entire time, if you wait for Tenet, you open up, nobody's going to show up because nobody has been in the theater, gotten used to it, seen it on social media, seen these things out there. If it's 5, you know what? Next week it's going to be 10 people. Week after that it's going to be 100 people.
Right.
You're going to grow your audience.
Even if it's only say 50 people a week, but that's 50 people that you can market Tenet to. Again, like it's about behavior. It's about encouraging the good behavior of coming to the theater. It's about discouraging streaming behavior and just getting people in that repetitive, coming back to the theater for things. People need that. And good customers kind of need to be retrained now to come back to the theater, and you need to be positive, encouraging, and every time they step foot into your theater is a new opportunity to advertise the new movies coming down the line.
Yeah, theaters have always been there. They're the sensible girl next door, and now it's time to put on your high heels and hike up that skirt and get out there.
Yeah, get out there, theaters.
Wow, that was a really good analogy. I was wondering where that was going at first, but I was like, that works.
That's all I do.
Analogies expert.
Canalogies.
Trademark. So speaking of some operation things, there have been several webinars put on by, NATO, which is the industry trade organization for movie theater owners, not a security worldwide security organization, but the National Association of Theater Owners. Easy for me to say. Anyways, they put on webinars, and we've been like listening in on them and getting tidbits here and there. But there were just a few things out of this last webinar that I wanted to highlight that I thought were just kind of interesting and really good practices that I thought theater owners should really think about. One is this idea of, now that we're sanitizing everything, do you accept cash? I know that a lot of small theaters didn't want to pay credit card fees. And so they have been still cash only businesses. It's one of the few cash only businesses, but moving forward, that's always been kind of in decline because people don't carry cash on them very much anymore. But you maybe want to rethink that. If you want to stay a cash only business, one option could be, instead of giving change back, or you could give gift cards back. So have whole dollar amounts, no cents, and then give gift cards back. So if somebody gives you a 20, you give them a gift card, and then they run the gift card through the machine to pay for the meal and the concessions and the tickets and stuff. So gift cards might be a way to get around the whole handling money and change. Another option is this idea that, as part of the transition that theaters have been doing to upgrade their facilities, to go with like the premium seating and the luxury seating, was this idea of high-end concessions. And a lot of theaters converted to the Coke Freestyle machines. So it was like a serve your own system at the concession stand. And that might be going away now, for cleanliness purposes and stuff. You might have somebody man those freestyle machines. And so they go and they buy the ticket at the concession stand, they get a ticket back, and then they give it to somebody who mans a servicing of those machines, and you hand them the ticket, and then they get what you want. So it's only one person, one gloved, clean employee giving people drinks from those freestyle machines. It might be going back to this old system of service, and that's what I want people to kind of keep in mind, is this idea of how we can protect with safety measures, cleanliness measures, but offer our customers a level of service that they cannot get at home.
And turn our industry back into what it was,
Yeah.
which was the pinnacle of entertainment.
It was. I mean, a night out at the movies was you went, you dressed up, it was usher you into your seat. You could bring ushering back, people to keep you from milling in the lobby or sitting too long in the auditoriums. Somebody can come usher you into the auditorium, usher you out. You're going to have to think about your entries and exits. No longer can people really enter the theater while people are exiting at the same time and cross paths. So ushering will be a great way for you to have employees there, have tasks, but crowd control, direct people.
Kyle, you've been practicing your arm stretching technique for taking your best gal out to the theaters.
Yeah.
And then stretch it way up, and then just test the water, see if you can bring it over. Your shoulder.
High school.
So
Never worked.
yeah, and you know what's great with ushers is part of their uniform is they were gloved. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like people would be weirded out by seeing a gloved usher taking you to your seat.
They might be weirded out by an usher taking them to their seat.
Yeah.
But not one with
But
gloves.
I think that customer service is what's going to help revitalize and bring back theaters. It's going to be that event, that feeling, that experience that people are looking for. And so I think when you're thinking about these cleanliness and social distancing practices and safety and all that, I think you can turn what are burdensome practices can be into something super positive, super customer orientated, and just really increase that service and that experience. Another thing you can do is, when you open up and into the future, because COVID-19 is not going to just go away overnight. So that these practices may be in place for months on end.
Yeah.
Is you could create pre-show, safety videos or anyway, what am I trying to say? Like procedure videos. There we go.
But yeah, show your customers what you're doing to sanitize, to keep them safe, to keep your
But
employees
also
safe.
what your expectation of their behavior is. We get a little bit of that with your please turn off your cell phones now, visit the concession stand. But they can be more and they can be elaborate. They can be reminders to say 6 feet away. They can, reminders to wash hands.
Masks and gloves available at the desk.
Yeah. If you need assistance, please,
Always make sure that
Fine.
they're in good hands. The customers
Right.
are.
be like maybe. Anyways, I'm kind of at a loss for words of what you could do with these videos, but I think having a pre-show video that shows what the procedure should be on the part of your staff and the part of the patron is super helpful.
Or at least have signs throughout your hallways, maybe
Right.
indicating about what type of procedures they would like their customers to
Mm-hmm.
perform.
Yeah, this next bullet point was my favorite from the whole webinar.
I put lobby music and energy is our last bullet point because you have less people in your lobby. It's going to be like eerily quiet unless you turn up that lobby music and you get some energy in there.
Unsta, 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 unsta.
I was
Unsta, unsta, unsta.
Get
I
that
was
TikTok
thinking-
music in there.
Instead of music, though, you play trailers. Just play trailers. Maybe play them a little louder. Look at the digital signage and maybe now's the time to upgrade so you can have trailers playing in the lobby. So it just feels like something's going on when you're in there.
Unsta, unsta, unsta,
People may
unsta.
like that more, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
Before just sitting down and waiting for trailers to start, like you can just have trailers going on and people can watch them, or they can
Right.
just talk like they normally would during a trailer anyway and still
Yeah.
be able to watch it at the same time. And, it will speed up the process of having people go in and out, and
Right.
will also give you more of a break in between show times to do your sanitation, cleaning, and whatnot. So I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Right.
You know what's a great idea?
What?
Drive-ins.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
What a concept.
What a concept. Drive-ins. No, there's been a lot of articles in magazines and stuff talking about how like the comeback of
And
the
the internet?
drive-in.
A magazine? What's that?
I know. And the
Margaret
internet.
Thatcher.
And then online trades talking about the like comeback of the drive-in. But I was kind of a little surprised by that. Not because drive-ins aren't a great thing right now, but I think what they're really getting at is the idea of these pop-up drive-ins, because one, drive-ins have always been around, and two, they've actually been gaining in popularity in the last several years, and all COVID-19 has done is sped up that process.
Yeah, they
But-
definitely got a boost.
yeah, but they've been super popular. They've been remaking themselves with high-end concessions, and the technology has been great for drive-ins. You can get an app so it can play over the Bluetooth speakers in your car. You don't have to have the FM transmitters anymore. I mean, there's a lot of technology things you can do at drive-ins that have been being done, and drive-ins have been being built like crazy in the southern United States. They have been making a real comeback. I think what you're seeing now is this like random pop-up, like where somebody has a vacant parking lot and they're like, I'm going to put up a screen and make a drive-in. That has been happening like crazy.
I've noticed on social media, and I've talked to a couple of friends that notice this too, is that people are posting about drive-ins a bit more. They're saying like, oh my gosh, drive-ins, we should go back to one. It's perfect for this time. Why haven't we done this more? And I'm like, because you all killed them.
Yeah.
You never went.
Yeah,
It is a great idea. You should go to them. They're awesome.
But you should go to legitimate ones.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that this idea that like, oh my gosh, drive-ins are great, I should make a drive-in. Anybody and everybody can make a drive-in because there are projectors now and pop-up screens that you can get for your backyard, and they think they can just put it up in a parking lot and charge people to come to come is just going to ruin the experience of it.
And the Off the Break podcast and Silver Screen Insider are advocates for theater owners and operators, legitimate theater owners and operators who pay all the fees, who have done all the paperwork, who provide the experience.
Yeah, who create, bathroom facilities and concession facilities and are going to be there. They don't have to be there year round because a lot of the times weather doesn't allow you to be there year round, but are permanent fixed locations that plan on being drive-ins into perpetuity.
And there was this similar boom of drive-ins in the 1950s. There was an Asian flu pandemic that caused closures of theaters and pools over the summer months when kids were out of school, and drive-ins exploded to almost 4,000 locations in the U.S. in the 50s, and then slowly went away. And the ones that survived, are still big money-making locations and still exist. But it's become this phenomenon now when we've had a slow uptick in growth.
Yeah.
Including one that I saw, that Yankee Stadium is going to have a drive-in in a parking lot.
See? I mean, some of those can be kind of cool, and I don't think Yankee Stadium's going to ruin the drive-in experience.
$100 a ticket.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow, $100.
Is it like going to be in its parking lot, or
Yeah,
is it inside?
You're not going to drive on the field. It's Yankee freaking Stadium.
I mean, that would
I
make
just
sense
didn't know
for it
if it
being
was
$100.
a drive-in, like where you stay in your car, or if it's like come to Yankee Stadium for a movie.
No, this is a drive-in in the parking lot of Yankee freaking Stadium.
What is the? See, this is what I mean. That there's no experience with that. Like, you just get to see the outside.
It's a heck of a story.
You get to see the outside of the stadium. That's so boring. I would go to a movie in the stadium. I could pay $100 to maybe do that.
You would not pay $100.
I would not do that, but I'm seeing
or
that
sit
experience.
sit on the field, sit on the grass and watch it somehow.
I would pay $100 for if you got to sit on the grass and watch a movie in the middle of Yankee Stadium. That'd be cool, or any stadium. Dodger Stadium. Oh,
they
awesome.
do movies in arenas and stadiums during the summer. They do these things, but this is just this. Somebody got an idea. We're going to do a drive-in, just like everybody else.
Oh my gosh, our office
and
has
we're gonna
been
play Back to the
inundated
Future.
with these calls of like, I got a screen and a home projector. I'm going to make a drive-in,
But there's also a lot of legitimate ones with real business people,
and that's been awesome.
We're excited about this. If you feel so inclined that you want to start a drive-in, please contact a film buyer who can negotiate on your behalf and get you started in this process legitimately.
Right. Fill out paperwork. Have an LLC to operate your company. Make it a real business endeavor.
Because if you've watched a movie ever, there is a copyright notice at the beginning of that movie. That film content is owned by someone.
Right.
It may not be one of the major film companies, but it is owned, and someone spent their time, effort, energy, money creating that film, and you're stealing it from them.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2019 COVID Napster is happening in a backyard near you.
It is. So yeah, we're excited for the new drive-ins. I think it's great that movie going and the experience is so entrenched in our culture that we're looking for ways to keep it going. Even with all of the talk of streaming and wanting videos day and date with theaters, and I want to pay my $20 and get my movie right away, people still want the experience of going out. And if they can't have it at a hardtop indoor theater, they are looking for it in the old drive-in experience. And that just is I think is just so awesome and shows why our industry may contract, but it'll always survive.
Did you just say hardtop Margaret Thatcher?
That's what they're called. Hard tops or drive-ins. Okay, get with the lingo. I know you're new at this, Ken.
Get with the business lingo.
Yeah.
Even if it is old school.
It's old school lingo.
Real old school. REEL, old school. Speaking of old school, Cody, did you watch a movie for Cody's Classic Corner
I
this week?
did.
Ooh.
I watched Rear Window, which I kept saying was like Secret Window with Johnny Depp, and they are nothing alike.
It
so
is not.
I apologize for all those references where I mistake them for being the same film. They're not. But Rear Window, Alfred Hitchcock has James Stewart in it?
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart. But he goes by James Stewart on that.
On the poster?
On the poster. Yeah. He is a photographer who has a accident while in the line of duty doing his photography, and he is in this like cast where one leg is broken and his hips are broken, so the cast goes up to his belly button and down one whole leg. And he's basically confined to this wheelchair in this tiny little apartment, and all he does is looks out his window. And then this part's really cool about the movie. They obviously made a set. It's not real buildings or anything. It was created, and there's all these different kind of families and people live stories playing off on these different windows, all surrounding this courtyard that he looks out into. But I'm always taken aback by the like naughty sexual scene at the beginning of a movie. Like he's looking off of this one girl, and she's obviously like in doing her hair, not wearing a top, but you only see her from behind. And then she goes in the room, and her bra top like falls off, so she bends over, and you get full butt shot. I mean, she's got undies on, but still full butt looking down Main Street. And then she pops back up, puts her bra on, and it's just like, what year was this made? Like, I just have that bias that I think these movies should be pure.
What's wrong with the lingerie Olympics happening over here?
She is always lingerie Olympic, like dancing around and then taking her top off to do her hair. Like, that's happening in one house. Then there's like the kind of old lady that's by herself that just like sculpture and lays out in the sun. And then there's
50s, not 60s.
50s, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this couple, and the lady is always in the bed, and the husband's kind of big and tubby and white haired, and he has to come back, and he dotes on her, and you get the impression that she's not very nice and stuff. And these are the people that he focuses on, because all of a sudden the wife disappears and it looks like the husband's murdered her. And so
he basically has a view of everyone's
right. And everyone
life.
has kind of a little different story. There's a couple up top that puts a little puppy dog down in a basket to go use the facilities in the guy's rose garden.
Facilities?
Yeah.
He pee-pees on the petunias.
He does pee-pee on the roses, the rose bushes. But
relieves himself on the roses.
Yeah. I'm always surprised I've watched now 2 Hitchcock movies in a row. I watched Vertigo and now Rear Window. And I can see why people study Hitchcock, because he definitely has a definitive style. But I'm always surprised that like Jimmy Stewart is supposed to be this like hunky man, but he looks like he's in his 60s. And then he has this like beautiful, elegant, blonde woman that is in love with him, and I don't know why.
Definition of the Hollywood bombshell.
Yeah.
Like exactly what you think of.
Well, for female and male at the time.
But in Vertigo, he had a beautiful blonde woman that was, I'm just like, no, this would never happen. He looks like her dad.
It may have happened in the 50s, but
he looks like her dad, and they're always dating. The guy never wants to get married. It's like, oh no, I'm afraid of commitment.
Yeah.
I'm like, like I just don't like any of that. I just think it's dumb. It's just so dumb. I feel like it's Hitchcock trying to live out some weird fantasy. It's just gross.
I think if you go through a few of those movies at the time, that similar element always comes into play.
Ugh.
For sure.
Or whatever. But this blonde, beautiful woman that has the whole city at the palm of her hand is in love with him.
In a weird way, it was a played out trope at the time.
It is
Could
totally
view it
played
that
out
way.
trope.
You could view it that way.
I'm gonna have to get through it if I have to stomach any more of these.
The beginning of your description of the movie, though, like what the setup is and like how the movie kind of goes along, like showing different people in their personal lives, is really why I like this movie so much, and really why I wish there was more movies like this.
I thought
that
it was
came
super
to theaters.
clever.
Yeah, it's clever. It's intimate. It's
It
showing,
is.
not telling. It's still a pretty good mystery. There's even thriller elements to it, much more than I expected.
My favorite part that I laughed so hard was when the guy they increasingly get intrusive into his life, into the guy that they think is the murderer.
Yeah.
And his bombshell lady love breaks into his house to find the woman's wedding ring because she wouldn't have left without her wedding ring, and so they think that's like the incriminating piece. And she gets caught by him, but the cops are coming, so she kind of escapes. But then he realizes that they've been watching, so he comes to confront James Stewart's character, and they like and he's like obviously going to attack him, and then so he does, and a little fight ensues. But the guy's like an invalid because he's in this crazy cast, and then the big guy tries to push him out the window. I just love it. I think it's so funny. He's like hanging on for dear life, and then he does fall and he breaks both legs. And at the end of the movie, he's in a double cast.
That is
and
hilarious.
his blonde bombshell's still with him.
You have to admit though, her doing that stunt of actually going into and breaking into his house, that was pretty cool. It was actually a thing that I did not expect for.
I did not expect
a
that
50s
either.
movie.
Yeah. I didn't expect all the like talk about love life and the naughty lady that does all the aerobics and gets with the handsome men, but really she's pining for the little fat soldier guy.
It's great.
I thought that might have redeemed her a little. So
redeemed her in the privacy of her own home.
I think I enjoyed Rear Window much more than Vertigo. Like,
I think I would too, actually.
I think the characters were a little bit better. Nobody was a horrid person.
The characters and the scenery and the sweeping.
It was much better. I think I don't think it's just because it was in color though either. I think it was just better in a lot of different ways. More my taste.
Yeah, Vertigo is more of the popular movie, but I'm with you that when it comes to my personal taste and what I find more amusing for a story, it was definitely Rear Window for me.
There was more elements in it that were entertaining that hold up over time.
Yeah, definitely. I say that one was a success then.
Yeah, that was closest to a success that we've gotten.
Nice.
I panicked though and only watched it late last night because I was like, oh, I've gone through the week. My whole grand plan was to watch it and Secret Window so I could be like, they're basically the same movie and talk about the differences, but I didn't get there.
Well, Cody, only 82 more to go.
Oh my gosh.
Only 82.
I
That's
will
not
make
bad.
it. Although it's going to be really horrible at the end when it's like Schindler's List and
all the
Sophie's
hardcore
Choice
stuff.
and all the ones I really just never want to see.
You can't get all the nice ones forever.
No.
Well, speaking of nice ones, here comes Kyle's sweet and happy. No, Kyle's cozy, comfy corner.
That sounds like cabin movies.
Submitted by Cody. We do a lot of C's and K's. Get this all.
Yeah.
It's a working title.
Okay, so this one was a panic pick from last week.
For sure, it was a panic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your next suggestion?
Well, we'll get to that. What did you think of The Pacifier? It is one of the kind of the first vein of the big muscly guy becoming like the babysitter.
It's a remake of the Hulk Hogan movie,
I know,
Nanny. It's not the first.
It's not, but it feels like
in the early 2000s, there was a shtick where big muscly guys did things with kids,
and they're still doing it today with John Cena and Playing with Fire.
Yeah,
so it's
it was
still
especially done in the early 2000s, for sure.
But it's still a thing for big muscly guys that want to like a foray into comedy and family movies.
Yes, this was not. This was not that for Vin Diesel.
Okay, so Kyle, what do you think?
It was not that for Vin Diesel.
Because didn't Vin Diesel follow this up with like that Tooth Fairy movie, or is that? That was The Rock. Never
That
mind.
might have been The Rock. I
It's
don't
The
know.
Rock, I think.
Okay,
They're all blend together after a while.
This is how young I am. I remember the trailers for this in between like Disney Channel and Cartoon Network or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember even as a kid being like, why would I want to watch this? So it's just funny to me that I have to go back and watch it now with a much different lens. And I don't get it, Cody. I don't.
It was a panic one. It's cute. I'm not saying it's great. It was just cute.
No,
Well, we're going to get better picks as we go.
I don't even know if it was cute to me, though, is the thing.
If you took the entirety
Not
of
really.
human existence and said, tell me a movie that you would like me to watch, this was
You guys put
one
me on the
and only time.
spot. You put me on the spot last week.
Yeah, with our millions of listeners, you were frozen with fear and said, the pacifier.
It was like my mind went blank. It was crazy.
We did see
Yeah.
the blanking happen, that's
I
for sure.
cannot wait for next
You could
week's
see
one.
through her eyes into the back of her head. It was
Right.
Just, oh, God. But no, like, even for a children's movie, there's always has to be, like, some kind of element to where, you know, something is cute or something is kind of imaginative about it, just, you know, so that way, like for a parent's eye and a kid's eye, they can see why this is entertaining. But I didn't really find that here. I mean, there was attempts at it for sure to have, you know, the hard and the cute moments and this and that. But while watching it, I just never found it. Like, it just, there's a reason why Vin Diesel went back to Fast and Furious after this, because I think he realized that he didn't want to be in something like this anymore. Wanted to go back.
went back to it a dozen more times.
Yeah, he's like, I found my lane. I'm sticking in it.
Well, he was in like the first Fast and Furious and then went off to do other things and then came back for like the fourth one, which was some years later. That's just what I mean by it. But
Yeah.
there was I didn't laugh, but there was one line, I don't know if it was on purpose or accidental, that really made me laugh. And it was
We live life quarter mile at a time.
I wish he said some Fast and Furious lines. But there's this moment where one of the kids that he's babysitting, they find out that not only has he dyed his hair blonde, but also he has like a Nazi arm strap. And at first, I'm like, where is this movie going right now? Are they saying this kid's like a Nazi somehow? But it turns out that he's has a role in The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And so when Vin Diesel finds out and talks to the kid about it, he says a line where he's like, I remember seeing The Sound of Music as a kid. There was something about a nun taking off the gown to be with a man in uniform that really stuck with me. And I heard something along those lines, and I lost it. He did not say that in a funny way. He said that in the most straight, narrow way possible. But I thought that line was so funny that I had to pause the movie just to stop laughing.
The
It would have
Brad
been
Garrett part where they are wrestling and he's
Oh, he was
Brad Garrett in the singlet.
yeah.
he was trying. That actor, I forget what's his name
It's
again.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, Brad Garrett. He was trying, but man, it just does not work.
Oh,
Like nothing, none of the material
think
just
it's
was able
funny.
to be funny for me. And I like Brad Garrett a lot too, but
Right.
it just didn't work for this movie. And it wasn't his fault. It was the same with everyone else's lines. It just wasn't enough material to work.
All right,
So not
Cody.
sweet or happy.
Cody, what is it?
I really, really want him to watch Watcher in the Woods, which is the scariest Disney movie ever.
Okay.
I am so excited about this. He's finally watching it.
I thought The Black Cauldron was the scariest Disney movie.
No, Watcher in the Woods.
Watcher in the Woods
is the scariest Disney movie ever.
All right. I'll try and watch it. Maybe it's on Disney Plus. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Good luck finding
Maybe it's
it.
on
Yeah.
a VHS in every grandma's closet. It didn't go
Yes.
beyond that, Cody. Nobody's ever said that movie out loud.
Yeah, it is. It is the scariest one. It gave me nightmares as a child. I want Kyle.
But did people agree with you?
The pacifier.
I will
gave
find
Kyle,
out if you agree with
The
me.
If I get
pacifier gave
nightmares.
Kyle nightmares. The pacifier may be the scariest Disney movie of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Not the movie.
Watcher in the Woods. I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, and I'll review The Predator because that sounds like a great option to do. So
Okay. Well,
2017 is The Predator.
yeah, the newest one.
1980s The Predator. Sounds great. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this week with Off the Break and Silver Screen Insider.
Yes.
Yes.
What am I going to watch? We got to figure this out.
Oh, are we choosing now?
Are we going to choose for you?
No, I like the surprise of finding something that
All right.
has.
I
that
get
is
surprised
small.
too every week because
Something that
I don't hear what it
finding
is.
something that she can stomach. She literally sorted the list by runtime.
I did. I sorted the list by runtime
Cody.
so that I could get the smallest
Not
ones
every
in.
movie is slow and boring. I promise you. There's long movies that are entertaining. I promise you.
But I came to find out they're mostly all 2 hours. So unless
Like every movie ever.
well, there's those 3 and 4 hour ones like
Like the
Ben-Hur
Snyder cuts.
and
Lawrence of Arabia.
yeah, and Gone with the Wind, and
Yeah.
I wanted to avoid that trap.
At least they won't scare you. Or at least I
No.
don't think they will.
And Watcher in the Woods is not on the list, Cody. So
But I'll still
Man.
watch it. I'll
Thank
still
you.
try and watch
And
it.
then I'm gonna come up with a new fun list, and we can post it and see what other people want you to watch too.
All right.
Gain up.
yep, we need a list for Cody to approve to give to Kyle of bad movies no one else has ever seen or cares about.
What? No, they're good movies. They're fun movies. They're movies I watch over again. Have you
Yeah.
seen Grandma's Boy, by the way?
Oh, with Nick Swartzen?
Yeah.
No.
That might be on the list. I watched that movie so much in my early 20s.
I have heard it's pretty funny. So,
I
yeah,
don't-
sure. Why not?
It's a college thing. That one might be
It's
a
a
good one.
college thing.
It was a college thing for me. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. Maybe I should make Ken watch these too.
Kyle, signing off for this week for
Sure.
Off the Break Podcast.
I'll sign off for you, Ken. Don't worry. Yeah, so as Ken was saying earlier, thank you for listening to the podcast. You can check it out on all podcast platforms as well as on silverscreeninsider.com, where if you're a theater owner or a theater manager and you need some new assets on upcoming or old titles, we have them all available for
Yeah,
you.
we actually got assets for Universal and Warner Brothers for their repertory products. So
Yeah.
you need a poster. You can't order the poster, but you can definitely go print the poster off using the high resolution files we have.
Yeah, there's still a lot more coming. We barely scratched the surface, so just keep checking back, find some old titles
Yeah.
that you may want to play, and sure enough, we'll probably have it.
And if you
Kyle
have
has been diligently putting those in the system for you.
It's been exhausting, but
Yeah.
it's happening. You'll see them.
And if you have a grandma or an elderly neighbor, you can go through their closet to find
it.
Watcher in the Woods on VHS or beta.
Yeah,
and
if
you can
someone-
watch it along
It
with
is
Kyle.
so good.
If someone does have the VHS, please send it over to me, and I have a VHS.
Do you really?
Yeah, I
if
do have
you
one.
have a VHS of Watch in the Woods, send us a picture on Facebook and we'll give you a subscription for free for a year to Silver Screen Insider for one account.
Yeah.
First
Just-
one in.
just to see if there is someone else out there.
There
So
isn't.
Cody's not alone.
There isn't.
I might watch that this weekend just so
Why
that we
not?
can talk about it
So you
more.
can have a panic attack.
It does still scare me.
The nightmares come back again.
Have a great long weekend, everybody.
All right, take
Yeah.
it easy.